You're watching WSTV Digital Media.
You're good now. Okay. All right. Welcome to the regular briefing session of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. This is a briefing set for a week from today, May 21st, 2020. We're going to begin our meeting today with a budget presentation from Dr. Janet Spriggs from Forsyth Technical Community College. That will be followed by Dr. Angela Hairston from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System, and she will be presenting budget requests and making comments regarding the budget itself. We also today hear from County Manager Dudley Watts regarding the COVID-19 relief funding available to the county. We'll begin now with Dr. Janet Spriggs from Forsyth Technical Community College. Dr. Spriggs.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me? And
yes, ma'am.
I hope. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Thanks to Miss Ashley Sloop helping me earlier with practicing this. I think I know what I'm doing. We will see in just one moment. And actually, my sincere apologies, but I am in the wrong browser, so it's going to take me just one moment to get over to the right browser. My apologies. Goodness, sorry. Okay, I think I will we will back up and punt a little bit, and I will use instead, there we go. We figured out, Ashley and I together, figured out how to use sound in the video, but I have to be in a different browser. And I just realized that. So unfortunately, to make up for the time, we will just go forward and I will tell you about the videos. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. So this is, of course, our presentation to the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners from Forsyth Tech with our budget request for this the next fiscal year, fiscal 2020 through 2021. And the slides look to be advancing a little bit slowly. I'm not sure why that is. It worked a little faster with Ashley and I. Everyone is on the commissioners meeting, so there's no bandwidth, I think. Okay, let's try it this way. I just wanted to start out by reminding everyone that this is a great year for Forsyth Tech, even with all the concerns and upheaval that have been caused by COVID-19 and the pandemic. We are very excited at Forsyth Tech to be celebrating 60 years of service to the county of Forsyth, as well as our expanded county in Stokes County. The college began as the Industrial Education Center back in 1960, and this September, I think it's September 6th, is our official birthday. We will officially mark 60 years of service to the community and to the citizens of Forsyth and Stokes County. I also want to start out with gratitude to all of you. You have been so generous with your time this past year for us and have been able to join us on several occasions. This is just one of the reminders of a time when several of you were there. I think we were able to capture Commissioner Wisenhunt and Commissioner Elamine in this photo with our LEAP at Forsyth Tech signing of the second signing of apprentices for that program that we started last June. And we just are very, very grateful to you for being there with us whenever you can to help celebrate all of the accomplishments and the new things that are going on, exciting things at Forsyth Tech. You were here for this. Many of you were also with us at our groundbreaking for the Aviation Center. I have some slides coming up about that very soon, but I just wanted to remind you of a few things that had been going on. As you know, back last year in the early summer, I think it was the June timeframe or July timeframe. Honestly, I can't remember. There was so much that went on last year, but we did break ground on our new Maisie S. Woodruff Aviation Technology Lab, and so many of you were there to share that day, with that special day with us. You can see here from this picture that we have made a lot of progress since November. We are at a bit of a lull right now. There have been some issues with COVID. Some of them are COVID-19 related and some of them are related to project management. But we are now, our architect has assured us that we are back on track, and there may be about a 30-day, there was projected a 30-day slip that he believes he's going to be able to bring back in and get us finished very close to that August timeframe that we were hoping to be able to finish in. He's thinking probably early September. We are going to enroll our first class in the aviation technology programs in August. We have been able to work out a partnership with our friends at Forsyth Tech, and our students will be able to take their first semester of courses with Forsyth Tech. We will earn the FTE for the students, and they will remain in our program. So we're very excited about that, and you can see the April photo showing you how much progress has been made. This is a photo of what the finished aviation technology lab, the Maisie S. Woodruff Aviation Technology Lab, will look like. And again, we are extremely excited about where these programs that will be housed there are going, as well as the opportunity for us to recruit from our service area closely related to where this campus is located, near our other location, the Maisie S. Woodruff building, just down the road. This year, we also added numerous articulation agreements to our plethora of existing agreements with our four-year partners. We were able to add agreements between ourselves, Forsyth Tech and Winston-Salem State University, North Carolina Wesleyan, Bellevue, and Salem College. And we have several other articulation agreements that are currently being finalized. This is wonderful opportunities for our students. It allows us to create seamless opportunities for transfer with our students who are in our transfer programs. They stay with us for 2 years. They then transfer directly into these programs. In many cases, they're already accepted, and we have articulated agreements that allow students to utilize resources at both the community college and the university concurrently. It's a wonderful program for our students, and it allows so many of our students too, as you can see from the Salem College and the Winston-Salem State University partnerships, to stay here at home while they finish their degrees. So we continue to do that. This is a video. I will show this video because you don't really need the sound for this one. I wanted to move into just updating you a little bit about our COVID-19 response and recovery, and our Forsyth Tech Cares initiatives that have been born from the need for us to help our students stay in school and continue moving forward during the global pandemic. So I'll just play this video. I don't think, unfortunately, that you can hear the music goes along with it. But I will send this video and another video that's later in this program to Ashley, and she will be able to get it to you. This was just a small video that we posted on our social media channels. We have had a steady drumbeat, if you will, of encouraging and optimistic and relevant and timely and informational posts on all of our social media outlets at the college, just to let students know that we understand how difficult this time has been for them. Many of them did not have the access that they needed, did not have equipment that they needed to move to fully online. And our Forsyth Tech Cares initiative was our way of staying connected and engaged with students throughout the pandemic and throughout this remote operations scenario that we found ourselves in. And through Forsyth Tech Cares, we have been able to maintain that steady connection and engagement, which has been so important for our students. We have said many times that all of us are experiencing this pandemic together. However, our experience is very different, and many of our students have struggled in ways that have prohibited or created barriers to their ability to continue in school, while at the same time they have experienced unemployment and they have experienced illness and having to care for children and elderly parents and so forth. So Forsyth Tech Cares has just been our way of making sure that our students and our faculty and staff know that we are in this together and that we will figure it out together. And it has been a wonderful initiative. One of the things that we're so proud of is that we were able, this is just one picture, there are several others, but this is one picture of the contributions that we were able to make to our hospitals, both Wake Forest Baptist and Novant, as well as county EMS and first responders with our PPE equipment. It was the least that we could do. As you know, many of our programs, our biggest programs and our spotlight programs at Forsyth Tech are in the health field. So we have so many of our students and our staff and faculty who are connected and on the front lines of the medical professionals, right alongside all the medical professionals that are battling this disease. So we were very, very happy to be able to contribute to the recovery efforts by providing our PPE equipment to the first responders and to the hospitals. We also had a very generous anonymous donation that allowed us to be able to purchase Chromebooks for our students. As I said, many of our students, even the students who were taking online classes, did not have the equipment that they needed to be able to work from home. Many of our online students still access their online classes through computers that are located on our campuses. And many students do not have access to the internet at their homes. And so we were very fortunate to receive a $100,000 anonymous donation at the very beginning of our move to remote operations and remote learning, and that allowed us to provide Chromebooks for our students. We had, at the time that this PowerPoint was put together, we had 46 Chromebooks and 8 hotspots that had been distributed to students. That number has gone up significantly as we prepare for summer semester, because we are going to start our summer semester fully online as well. So we are very close to 100, if I'm not mistaken, and continuing to, it took us a while to find the hotspots. Those were a hot commodity, so to speak. And we finally were able to get some in, and we are giving those out to students. We also, through our foundation, purchased masks through the Mask the City program, so that as we began to phase back into on-campus operations and learning. We are able to provide masks for our faculty and staff and students who want or need them. We have not made wearing masks a mandatory requirement, but we are strongly encouraging that to help protect each other. And our foundation purchased 11 cases of masks to help us do that. Also, again, we were able to continue to respond to the community's needs as we fought the pandemic and fought the virus by continuing to provide training for those critical programs like first responders, CNA, basic law enforcement training, and firefighters. In the stay-at-home orders, we were exempted from having to stop those programs. We did follow, of course, all social distancing and other required measures to make sure that we kept our staff, our faculty, and our students safe during that time. But we continued those programs, and many of those programs have finished now, and the students have gone on to jobs that are, again, helping us to combat the effects of COVID-19. This is just another shot from our Forsyth Tech Cares initiative. This is a photo of one of our students who was really struggling, and we were able to get a gift card to help them out. Through this effort, that has been part of it, providing financial assistance through monies that we have available through the Forsyth Tech Foundation, and then ultimately the federal dollars that we received that are for specifically distribution to students who meet the eligibility requirements. But we also used Forsyth Tech Cares to help students understand how to use the technology and advising and tutoring, online tutoring, all those kinds of things. We funneled everything through this Forsyth Tech Cares initiative, and we responded to literally thousands of requests and needs through that program. And again, just another one of our social media posts. These are all staff and faculty, just letting our students know that they're not with us, but we're still thinking about them and we still care about them. I cannot tell you all how extremely proud I am of the staff and faculty at Forsyth Tech. You will be happy to know that your community college staff and faculty went above and beyond at every turn throughout this entire time that we have had to deliver all of our operations and all of our learning remotely. They literally did the impossible by moving everything online within 2 weeks. I never would have believed that we could accomplish as much as we did, and it is just a testament and a credit to the people who work at the college and to the care that they have for the work that we do to support our students and thereby to help support our communities. We also had our very first ever virtual commencement ceremony last week. I had sent an invitation through Ashley Sloop to all of you, and I don't know if any of you were able to join us last May 7th, last Thursday, for the virtual commencement. We were the first college in this region to attempt a virtual commencement, and I think we did a fantastic job. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we talked with our students and we found out from them what they felt would be important as ways for us to recognize their hard work and their accomplishments. And we put together what I thought was an impressive virtual commencement ceremony on YouTube Live. Also on our YouTube channel, if you were not able to see the second video that we posted on May 8th on Friday, I will send you a link, and I hope you will take just 20 minutes, I think it is 27 minutes, to view the 30-second video clips from our students who were graduates. They provided 20 or 30-second clips to tell us about their journeys and about what they were doing now, and some of the videos that they made were just absolutely inspirational. I was crying within the first 10 seconds, I think, and throughout the video. This is another part of the initiative. I hope that you will see, our graduates picked up about 500 of these Forsyth Tech class of 2020 signs to display in their yards. So I hope that you are seeing them throughout our county. This is another video, and unfortunately, since you can't hear the sound, it won't make a lot of sense to you. While I'm talking, I'll just turn it on. This young lady's name is Ashley as well, Ashley Mead, and Ashley is telling us the story about how, have you ever wanted to be a doctor, a teacher, or an architect? And if you, and she's talking about how she did. She had dreams, she had a marriage that dissolved, she had children that she had to take care of. But she knew that in order to take care of her children, coming back to school and getting a degree was her best hope. She went through a long time to get that degree, but her daughter inspired her to continue, and she graduates this year. She's part of our class of 2020. She already has a job. She also talks in the video about how her mother, who passed away during this experience, was such an inspiration to her. I included this, and I will, of course, get you this video link, just because I wanted to say, again, as part of my thank you and gratitude to you for the wonderful support that you always offer to us. I wanted to let you know that, or give you an example of the difference that your support makes and the difference that Forsyth Tech makes in our communities. We are here as an asset to help any and every person within our service area and beyond. We can't recruit outside the service area, but we have many students who do come to us outside of Forsyth and Stokes counties. And the work that we do really does, it's very transformational. It helps students create a pathway forward that moves them forward socially and economically into careers and out of jobs that pay minimum wage or less than sustainable wages. I will also say that, and let me go to this next slide while I talk about this. This is our budget request, which is, of course, why we are here today. So thank you for giving me just a few moments to let you know about some of the wonderful things going on at Forsyth Tech. But I also want to say that during the COVID-19 response, we did close all of our campuses. We didn't ever actually close them all the way. We still had designated staff that were on our campuses throughout the time that we have been remote, which began for us on March 30th, I believe. But we still had staff and faculty, mostly staff, who were on the campuses doing essential types of work and allowing students, for example, to use the Wi-Fi in our parking lots. They could drive in, sit in their cars, and use Wi-Fi during some of that time to be able to have the access they needed to complete their learning. We were able to also get some work done that needed to be done on our campuses, so that while the buildings and labs were not being used to the fullest extent, we were able to do painting and other maintenance projects to get us ready for whenever we are able to finally return in person to campus. So we were able to realize some savings in utility costs and things like that, but we did have the buildings open. So we didn't save as much as you might think had we been able to completely close the campuses. We didn't do that. We still needed staff who had to come into their offices for different kinds of jobs that are not able to be telecommuted, if you will. And we were able to also move some projects up and get some things completed that we would not have been able to do with all of the students and staff and faculty on the campuses. So moving to our budget request for next year, this is what we requested. I pulled this as a snapshot out of our the recommended budget document from Mr. Kyle Wolf in the budget office at Forsyth County. And you can see that we were asking for a 6.1% increase, and the recommended budget to you is a 2.6% increase. I want to say that I talked with our county manager and with Kyle this week and expressed to them that I'm very grateful that they were able to recommend the 2.6%. It is, I know, a very tough time for all of us, and none of us really know what the total impact of the pandemic is going to be economically. They were able to, in this recommended budget, fund some very important things for us, which included estimated increases in our utilities costs. We had been notified that there would be a 6% increase in electricity in the coming year, and I think it was a 2% increase in our water utilities. They also, as part of the recommended budget, are putting aside some money in case there is a salary increase for state employees this year, so that we would be able to give the same increase to our county-funded employees. I really am not very optimistic that we will get a salary increase this year. In January, I would have had a much different conversation with you. We felt very good about both sides of the General Assembly and our governor's office being very committed to helping our our community college faculty and staff with a salary increase this year, and that was going to be our system's top request for 5% salary increase across the board. Now things have changed dramatically, and we are not focusing on salary increases as a system. We are focusing on enrollment growth for the state. As you all know, the county supports our physical plant and our campus needs, but you do not support our curriculum. The state budget does that. And we have already seen growth for this year. Forsyth Tech has grown this year, and the other community colleges in the state have also grown. We anticipate, as is the case anytime there is an economic downturn, we anticipate enrollment to grow even more. And so we do expect that we will have higher increased enrollment in the fall. Our numbers at Forsyth Tech are showing that we already have higher than normal enrollments from the same point in time last year. We are almost 5% up for summer, and we are a little bit ahead in the fall. I don't have the fall numbers, but we haven't pushed the fall registration as strongly yet. We are, however, going to start on May 27th. We will start our summer semester. We moved it out a week. We're going to start fully online. We are planning to bring students back to campus next week. On May 18th, we will begin to resume some of our short-term programs that had to be suspended, and we will begin to allow students who could not complete hands-on labs from the spring semester to come to campus in smaller groups that we can manage and keep safe, following all the regulations, and allow them to do the hands-on components for their courses that they had to take incompletes for, because there was just no way that we could finish some of the requirements at a distance. We do hope that by July 6th, that's our goal, that we will be able to start some summer classes in person on campus, and most likely what we will do is give students the option to come to campus or to synchronously take the class online if they prefer to do that. And we really are not 100% sure what fall is going to look like. At this moment in time, we are planning to be back in person in the fall. We are building contingency plans in case we cannot do that. So all of that to say that in times like this, where there is such unusual circumstances and anticipation of economic downturns, I think that we are more than grateful for the recommendation to give us the most critical increases that we had. There is also, as I understand it, an additional part of this money that I do want to talk a little bit to you about, and that is money that we had asked for to help us expand our police presence on all of our campuses. The slide that you see here are just a couple of reminders of incidents of shooting incidents and things that have happened on college campuses. that cause us to want to be sure that we are proactive in making our students, staff, and faculty as safe as we can. We currently have these 8 campuses, all but 2 of which are in Forsyth County. And the only campus that we have our police force on right now is our main campus at Silas Creek. The other campuses, we are only able to do contracted services, security services with unarmed security officers on those campuses. And we feel that that is leaving us vulnerable. And we really want to be able to turn those contracted services dollars into additional police officers and also ensure that we can have armed police from our police our campus police on our other campuses. We also know that we have a shortage relative to other community colleges and universities in our area with regards to the number of sworn officers per the number of students. We are behind some of our other schools. As you can see, Durham Tech has less students than we do, but far more officers than we do. GTCC is larger than Forsyth Tech, but they still have many more sworn officers than we do. And then we also just included here for your reference some of the information about the police at our universities, the local universities here in Forsyth County. So this is a real need for us, and I just listed here for you some of the reasons, the risks and challenges of our current situation. We are relying on non-sworn, unarmed security, responding to deadly force, threatening incidents, potentially. We have no police officers that can respond to the multi-campuses, and we don't have a presence on duty in the evening and weekends. We have had some trouble on our main campus, and that's a problem for us. We had a robbery just a week before last and lost about $10,000 worth of equipment. We rely on our external police agencies who are wonderful. We have strong relationships with all of the external police agencies, but we feel we need more of our own officers to be able to do the kinds of things that you see here: community policing, different types of disciplinary options, focusing on prevention, working well with the children, the parents, and the visitors, and really becoming a part of our college community. That's what our officers are able to do when the external police agencies cannot do. We also believe that in today's environment, it is unrealistic for us to expect our unarmed security officers, who really don't have any more authority than a citizen, to approach and intercept an assailant who is potentially armed. Our contract security at the off-campus sites does provide extra presence, but they're eyes and ears only, and we depend on our local law enforcement officers, who again are wonderful and have done a great job supporting us, but they do have limited officers on duty and must respond from wherever they are on the city. We would prefer to have more of our full-time Forsyth Tech officers with police jurisdiction at all of our campuses. They would be able to preventively patrol the campus and provide a visible criminal deterrence, as well as a rapid response to incidents. Also, being a full-time Forsyth Tech Community College employee, our officers become more invested and more knowledgeable about who we are, what we do, our campuses, our procedures and processes, and just in general have a better connection with the campus community and less turnover. And again, in comparison to other Winston-Salem campuses and comparable community colleges within our state, our police officer present is significantly lower, and we are understaffed. So with that, I just wanted to provide that extra information. As I said, I completely understand why that could not be funded right now. I do hope if revenues are available later in the year that you would consider helping us expand that presence, even if it's in smaller than what we had initially requested, smaller increments. But in closing, I just do want to share how grateful we are for your continued support. We are doing our best to live up to this vision statement that you see before you. We are a catalyst for equitable economic mobility, empowering lives and transforming our communities. We're thankful to be here in Forsyth County, serving Forsyth and Stokes counties, and being, we believe, a critical partner in workforce development and economic development. And we look forward to being a key partner in the recovery from COVID-19, both socially and economically. And with that said, I would be happy to stop presenting and take your questions.
Dr. Janet Spriggs, that was a very comprehensive report. Questions for Dr. Spriggs?
I'm sorry, Mr. Plyler, I couldn't hear you. Did you ask me a question? So sorry.
All I said was it was a good, comprehensive report, and I'm open for questions from the commissioner.
Thank you.
Dr. Spriggs, can you hear me? It's Don Martin.
Yes, I can, Mr. Martin.
Good. But let me ask you, in terms of just your security and your resource, your police force, have you looked, when you're talking about expanding, have you looked into potential partnerships, say, for example, contracting with Winston-Salem State Police Force, contracting with Wake Forest Police Force, where basically you don't have to deal with all the, I mean, they're going to have a contract fee and those kind of things, but it may be that they take some of the overhead and actually it becomes not quite as expensive. Or you can also contract for sworn armed officers from various contract services. And I don't know who you contract with now for the unarmed security, but I am aware that there are contract agencies in our triad area that you can get whatever you want. If you want sworn officers that carry guns and armed, you can get those too. I'm just trying to look at because we at one time when in the school district I looked at, we could have had a police force also, and police forces are expensive, particularly their retirement rules and a lot of those kind of issues. Plus, there's a huge amount of liability for lots of training required, lots of liability with firearms, lots of issues. And it just seems like with the numbers you're talking about, some kind of contract arrangement could in fact be more economical.
Yes. So Mr. Martin, Dr. Martin, sorry. I will have to check with our chief of police to find out specifically if she has inquired about a partnership with the other colleges and universities. I will say that I have experience at 2 other community colleges in the state who did not have police departments. There are about 5 or 6, maybe 8 colleges throughout the state that do have police forces. The 2 previous ones that I worked at, we did not have them. We struggled with maintaining a strong presence. We tried lots of different things. We did have a contract with the local police in the counties where the colleges were to provide sworn officers on those campuses, but their first allegiance, as it should be, had to be to meeting the requirements needed to make the county safe and for their sheriff or police department. And so we did struggle on occasion to have times where police officers that we were contracting with could not be on our campus, and we would just not have them there. They wouldn't show up because there was another urgent, more top priority for them. So there are some things that I think we would have to be very careful in working out just in past experience. However, to your point, there are many things that we can look at and will be, as a matter of fact, since we were not able to get the money to increase the sworn officers. We have a wonderful police captain. Our chief is Carolyn McMacken, and she works very, very closely with all of the police departments in the county and the universities. In fact, they meet on our campus, I think, quarterly for joint meetings. So I do know that she's very connected, but we will absolutely make the effort to look at all those scenarios that you gave us, and we will do our very best to make sure that whatever proposals we are making to you or whatever ultimate plans we make absolutely do take all those things into consideration. And if you wouldn't mind, I have one thing that I just realized as I was in my head replaying the presentation that I just made for you. I think that my team that gave me the map of our campuses made a mistake, because that our Northwest Center, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to call the presentation back up right now and not talk to you, but I think they showed it in Stokes County, and that's not correct. Our Northwest Forsyth Center is in Forsyth County. That did not sound right to me, and I'm pretty sure that was wrong. So my apologies for that mistake. I'll make sure that we get that corrected. But all of our campuses other than Stokes County's center campus are located in Forsyth County, just to make that clarification to you. And my apologies for the error.
Additional questions for Dr. Spriggs?
Dr. Spriggs, this is Fleming Alamain. Can you hear me?
I can, Commissioner. Hello.
Hello. Listen, thank you so much for a comprehensive presentation. I had one question related to the Maisie Woodruff Aviation Center that we're about to open up and all be excited about. We had discussed one time of having a relationship with Carver High School as that came about to encourage those students to take advantage of the opportunities there. Have you been able to solidify that relationship or work more on it for those students at Carver?
Yes, we are. I think, Commissioner, I'm not sure that I have shared this with all of the commissioners in the past. If I'm repeating myself, my apologies. We do have a career coach who is stationed at Carver, or embedded at Carver might be a better way to say that. This is a program that allows us to have Forsyth Tech career coaches, counselors, advisors who are college employees, but who live at certain high schools, and Carver is one of those high schools. And our career coach there is Chris Martin. Chris has been with the college for many, many years. He's from that community, and his job is actually not to recruit. His job is to capture students who do not have a plan and a pathway forward after graduation, and to get them on a pathway forward. So if a student's pathway is going to the university, if they're ready to go to Carolina, that's the way that Chris directs them and works with them. But if there are students, and there are many students, that do not have a plan at all, then his job is to help them find a pathway forward that many times is at Forsyth Tech. And now he is specifically, along with the other members of our recruitment team that we have built since September, we have pulled resources from around the college to build that team. And Chris as a career coach reports into that same team. So that group collectively have been actively recruiting for our programs. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Additional comments or questions for Dr. Spriggs?
Chairman, I just have a comment for Dr. Spriggs. I wanted to just tell her I've seen her over the time that she's been here just kind of hit the ground running, and you've done an amazing job. I've watched you via the social media during this pandemic. One of the things I also wanted to acknowledge that as a leader, you understand budgeting and how we're having to trim down that budget and not always allocate funding towards, the acts. So I wanted to say I appreciate you. There will be a lot of acts through this budget season, and I would hope others would follow your leadership with regards to their budget requests. So thank you so very much.
Further questions?
Thank you.
Additional comments? Thank you, Dr. Spriggs. Appreciate everything you've done today. It was an excellent report. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ma'am. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to have Josh Swift, who is the man who is in charge of the Health Department in Forsyth County. And following him, we'll have a report from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board looking for funding for their budget. And we will conclude later on with a report from Dudley Watts on the virus relief funding program. Now, having said that, before we go any further, and by the way, we'll bring the report from the Public Health Department in just a moment. But first, to make this a legal meeting, I will ask our clerk to the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners, Ashley Sloop, to call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Vice Chairman Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Elamine.
Present.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yes, I'm here.
Commissioner Linville.
Here.
Commissioner McDaniel. Commissioner McDaniel, I think you're here.
My apologies, I'm present.
Thank you. Commissioner Wisenhunt.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now our Public Health Director, Josh Swift, with our weekly report on COVID-19.
All right. Good afternoon, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for your time, this time to brief you today. I want to thank the public health staff and all our many partners who are working together to respond to this pandemic. As of 11 a.m. today, there are 16,507 cases of COVID-19 in North Carolina, with 615 deaths across the state. There have been 555 laboratory confirmed cases in Forsyth County, with 233 cases that have been resolved, and there have been 7 deaths in Forsyth County. As of May 11th, 2,842 tests for COVID-19 have been reported from Forsyth County according to the North Carolina Electronic Disease Surveillance System. We're working with each hospital system to confirm the total number of tests being conducted. All positive tests are reported to the local public health department and the state disease surveillance system, but negatives are not required to be reported. We believe this number could be close to 6,000 to 8,000 tests and are working with both hospital systems to determine a more accurate count. 58% of our cases in Forsyth County are in persons under 45 years of age. 32% of cases are in individuals 45 to 64 years of age, and 10% of cases are in individuals 65 and over. Our rate of cases per 100,000 is 102, compared to 144 cases per 100,000 across the state. In our data, race and ethnicity is broken down in the following way. 27% of cases are white, 20% Asian, 29% Hispanic, 17% African American, and 7% unknown. Since I briefed you last week, the cases in the county have increased from 347 to 555, which is our case count today. A large amount of the cases reported over the week appear to be predominantly in the Hispanic population and clustering among families. This means family members are passing the virus from person to person in the home, and the amount of cases from Tyson has slowed considerably since last week. Since mid-March, public health staff were assigned to do outreach in our Hispanic community. Staff visited or spoke with, over the phone, Hispanic-owned businesses and organizations across Forsyth County. This included 108 site visits that were conducted and 78 telephone consultations. Posters and flyers were distributed at these locations, which included 8 supermarkets, over 40 grocery stores, 10 restaurants, 13 apartment complexes, multiple churches, flower shops, bakeries, auto shops, and other organizations. In addition to our COVID-19 helpline, a Spanish-speaking line was added along with outreach via social media and through the Hispanic League. We are committed to continue this strong outreach and partner with other organizations to reach this vulnerable population. The other cases that we're seeing appear to be close contacts to many of the previously laboratory confirmed cases. Last week, Forsyth County reported its first long-term care center outbreak at Oak Forest Health Rehabilitation Center. So far, all residents and staff members have been tested. 6 staff members tested positive, and only 1 resident in total tested positive in that facility. In closing, I encourage our residents to continue to wear a face mask, wait 6 feet away from each other, and wash their hands often. Since we see clusters in families, if you are ill, stay separated from other family members in the household. Wear a cloth face covering when social distancing at home can't be achieved. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces and wash your hands often. If you're sick and it can be avoided, try not to share a bathroom with well family members. Limit visitors to your home. And last and most importantly, stay home if you're ill and do not go out in public. Thank you for your time. Thank you to the partners who have come together to serve during this pandemic, and to our residents who are persevering during this process. Thank you.
Comments or questions for Joshua Swift?
Joshua, Chairman, I apologize first. I do have a question with regards to Joshua's report. Okay. Joshua, the only question that I have with regards to the report is what's happening with the collaboration with the mass distribution with the city and the county collectively? Is there any type of partnership going on? And I know that there was a schedule provided by the city. How is that being incorporated with the county's work?
That is to make sure I have the question clear, Ms. McDaniel. You said the mass, the city?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that we have worked with the city and with Love Out Loud, and they have offered us masks to provide to our clinic patients, to protect our patients and our providers. We're also reaching out. I've reached out to Love Out Loud to work with their community partners regarding getting information and the possibility of helping with testing and making that more available. So I've reached out with them. We have been supportive of them, and we have reached out to Mass the City so we could again have those masks for our clients and also to those that we do home visits for.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Additional comments, questions for Mr. Swift?
One question, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Mr. Swift, at this point, do you see the need to do additional testing in the Hispanic community, specifically the Walltown area, to better assess how this pandemic is affecting that community?
Well, I think, one, we can see that there is testing going on because we're seeing an uptick in cases. We have had discussions and communication with Novant and Baptist. We know that Novant has a facility in Walltown on Monmouth Street where they've seen, and I was talked and met with them this week, and they have seen an uptick in the amount of testing. The biggest thing now, and I would quote Dr. Ohl, and we have had constant communication, is while testing is important, it's the contact tracing and the isolation that are really most important, and that is something that public health that we're focused on primarily. The testing, we're also trying to see if we can offer opportunities where more testing could be available in the community, and working with our partners as in the hospital systems, and we believe that in the next few weeks that we could possibly have a drugstore from one of the chains come on board. We've reached out, the state has reached out to us, and we hope that that'll come on board as well to offer more testing.
Thank you.
Additional comments?
So Joshua, yeah, I do have one other comment. It's not really a question that I think that you can answer relative today. It's been questioned by the community that there is some thoughts that there's different data relative to the federal, state, and local. So how do we ensure, or how do we make the constituency feel more comfortable with the data that's been given or provided during these meetings?
That is a great question. And, we are working, as I said, with the hospital system to try to get a more accurate count of this information, of the testing that's being done. And ideally, we want to be able to have, you can now, the information that's in the state system is available on the state's website, DHHS, and it provides zip code data. That's something we're trying to nail down.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And get a better handle. I apologize. So currently, we're able to provide this, what we see from the state system, and we can break that down into the zip code, but we're trying to get a handle on where the testing is to make sure it's equally distributed throughout the county and people have access.
Yeah, just looking at the numbers that were given regarding the tests that were performed versus the actual tests, reported versus the tests that were performed. So if we could just trickle down that data, it probably would be helpful in the future. But thank you. I appreciate all that you guys are doing. The cape that you're having to put the S on your chest and taking care of the community. I appreciate you, Joshua, and I appreciate Victor at DSS. I know that this is phenomenal. It's a lot of work, and you guys are doing a phenomenal job, although I do have questions every week. So thank you.
Well, one, I appreciate the questions, and we're trying to be transparent and get the good information so we can make informed decisions. And thank you for the encouraging words, but it's a team effort. We have a great team at Public Health, and I'm sure Victor would say the same thing, a great team at DSS.
Further questions or comments? Thank you very much, Joshua.